Our staff have been fantastic at putting together a new learning plan. We've broken our groups into language arts math and a projects team, and they've just been working really hard creating activities for kids, engaging, interesting videos, just trying to keep the kids motivated to come to the computer every day. We've really utilized our laptops in it's pushed our PD and our abilities in ways that we couldn't have imagined. But just their energy and their effort to the kids, looking up kids, chasing kids, connecting with kids in such a different way. I can't say enough good things about what a fantastic team we've got here at Senator Fairbairn School.
My name is Wes Spring and I work at Senator Fairbairn Middle School, and I'm on the grade 7 math team during this online learning transition. And what all of our teams are doing, regardless of the grade, is we are putting together online platforms for our kids. And I think with math especially, the challenge is finding accountability in the sense that with math you want to see their process, and so we want to be able to see what the students are doing, and we're using our Microsoft Teams platform to be able to send work back and forth. So we're doing a few things. We're creating our customized videos to try and do the lesson instruction part. Then we are customizing some assessments that go with those videos, and then the formative piece comes into play when the students are able to take that work and send it back to us so that we as teachers can see their process, give them some feedback, some formative assessment, and send it back to them. And then at the end of every week, they have a summative assessment on Microsoft Forms, which is a nice build into that Teams program. And then we as teachers can very quickly see how the students are doing, which groups of students are doing really well, which ones maybe need a little bit more support. And then we try our best to reach out to those students who aren't doing so well, try and get them a little bit more engaged, because when we have students who are at home and we're not with them obviously in the classroom, you can lose that one-to-one connection with those kids, and we don't want to have those kids fall too far behind. So we find that it's been working pretty good so far, but I think as we go here and we continue in our journey, we just keep trying to find new ways to keep those kids engaged in our content. I'll be honest, I was a little skeptical going into this. I thought about what I would have been like as, maybe a middle school kid, and in the first couple weeks we had high 90% of our kids were, you can see with our program, you can see that they're viewing the content, that they're doing the assessments, they're sending the work back to us. We have kids who are video conferencing with us, chatting with us, and we can keep a nice log of all those students who are engaging. And so in the beginning, it was really high, 90% of our kids were engaged. I think right now we're kind of a little bit lower. We're getting into the 80s, and we're losing a few kids. I don't know if that's because the content's getting harder, or if some of the kids are getting maybe a little bit bogged down in the amount of work they have. But again, that's where we try and find new ways to get in touch with those kids that we're starting to lose, try and bring them back and get them engaged in the class again. With the instruction, we're making our own videos. And so that's, on the grade 7 team, that's me. And so I've had a big learning curve on how to make a math video and try to get content in a small chunk of time, 5 to 10 minutes. We know what a lot of us are like if the video is too long, so we will do that. We do have some live classes. I'm actually going to start to experiment with that in the very near future, where we invite a whole bunch of kids all at once into a Teams meeting and give instruction that way. We're lucky here at our school that we have a one-to-one laptop school, and so all of our students have their own laptop with a stylus pen. So students have 2 ways of showing their work in math. They can use their stylus pen and they can write over top of slides and send those slides back to us, and we can mark it that way. Or they can do old school paper and pencil, which a lot of students have been doing, and then they would take a picture of their work, paste it to a presentation, send that back to us, and we can mark it that way. So they have the option of whatever method that they prefer. It's been interesting, it's been challenging. I just want to say that we have a lot of staff at this school right now who are collaborating and getting together to find ways to try and keep our kids involved. And it's been a pretty interesting journey so far. We're all learning a whole bunch. This has been incredible PD. And I think what's going to happen is when we come back to normal school, that all of us are going to have this really good PD, new tech skills, and it'll supplement what we do in our classroom so that we can think of more creative ways to have breakout situations within our own school. And school moving forward next year, I think, will look quite a bit different because of this experience. So we're all trying to see the silver lining on this dark cloud here.
Hi, I'm Paul Bonert here at Senator Fairbairn, and I'm one of the lead teachers here of the projects program that we are doing for the COVID shutdown. Our project's focused on the science and social studies here at Fairbairn, and the students got a chance to introduce themselves to the projects through the Olympic theme. So once we start the Olympic theme here, these 6 teachers are the ones that we divided into the 3 age groups and divided up the social studies and the science, but we also added all the options that we could into the project. The focus was specifically on science and social studies, but we have phys ed, design studies, art, foods, health, and music and dance included. So we broke down the checklist on where kids should be spending their time in the project here, showing that most of the time is being done on the challenge and then self-assessing as well. So here are the 24 options. But they click on one of the 24 options. The screen comes up with guiding questions, the resources, the video resources, and then the student goes through that project. And what they're supposed to do then is come up with a brand new project in one of these formats. They could write books, make videos, make graphics, compose music. So there was lots of different options. We also worked on the 4 different learning styles that they could work visually, auditory, kinesthetic, or a read-write option. And with that, they had 1 week to do it. So every week they were expected to come up with one in the month of April. When they're finished their project, before they submit it, they have to go through and do a self-assessment. And we had these as our benchmarks: training program, a bronze, silver, and a gold to tie into the Olympic theme. And we took the 10 competencies from Alberta Ed that they all had to evaluate. So they were quite general, but these are the competencies that Alberta Ed has put out 3 years ago. And at the very bottom, we had them tie right back into their current or connected to the social studies and science curriculum that they've been doing all year, so that it was the reconnection to something that they've had prior to the COVID shutdown. In May, we took on the specific curriculum that wasn't covered in social studies. For example, in grade 8, they're finishing off Japan. In grades 6, they're doing ancient Athens. And in grade 7, we are doing Confederation to current time with the same premise with a project. So every week they're expected to do some background research, a bit of project preparation, and then a small quiz at the end. And for the month of June, we're doing the remainder of the science curriculum, which really is almost 2 months of work in 3 weeks. Well, I think we are prepared to continue with a project-based approach. A number of the teachers here in this school have done project-based learning or concept-based learning for the last, since we opened this school, and I've been doing it for about 10 years now. To me, the engagement and the buy-in factor of the kids has been phenomenal. If they can self-direct themselves, they get to pick their project, they get to pick the way they present it. It's very rewarding for them, and they go well beyond the curriculum with finding out information this way.